Hey everyone, thought it'd be helpful to give a few pointers on installing self-adhesive tile. I've read a lot of stuff online in the past and did again this time around. This is my second floor, or actually third floor that I'm doing. I'll show you the one I did about 6 years ago, did one for my mother-in-law about 4 years ago, and then this is my third one, like I said. And I've read a lot of stuff online where people are having a hard time, especially with the grouting of this particular tile or style of tile. And a lot of it's 3 millimeters thick, so it's fairly thin, and it's not stone. But a lot of people have complained about getting the grout haze up and just getting the tile to stay in the grout lines itself. So hopefully this will help a little bit. And this particular tile that I'm putting down here is the designer's image. This stuff I picked up at Menards, and this is 16 by 16, as you can see on the carton there. Maybe not, but 16 by 16, 20 pieces in a box, and it's a rounded edge, so when you put the grout in, it actually looks like a pretty realistic tile, and I've liked the look of it, and so I figured I'd put it in this bathroom as well. This particular one, its pattern number is RD3113, and it's a beige color, is what it says on the box. It's a nice marbled look to it, and like I said, I picked this up at Home Depot or Menards. The other stuff that I've put down in the past was from Home Depot. It was a Traffic Master was the name brand, and they don't seem to have it. I think they have it online, but I didn't want to go off of that. The stuff they have in the stores, it's not rounded edges, so that's why I was looking for somewhere else that sold it, and Menards had this one that we liked, the color and the pattern in it. So this is 16 by 16. The other stuff I put down was 12 by 12. One thing you'll notice is I'm putting everything down at an angle, so a 45-degree angle. The first floor I put everything square to the walls, and it still looks nice, but when I did my mother-in-law's, I put it in an angle really like that, so I'm doing that in this one now as well. But first off, there we go. First off, if you're putting it on an existing laminate vinyl floor, this was some of the stuff that I'd used. It's from Home Depot, Robert's 2057 adhesive, so it's meant for a vinyl floor. So if you have anything that's coming up on the edges, this floor was in pretty good shape. This is like $4 or $5 from Home Depot, but I put this on a couple spots in the corners that were coming up, and like I said, this is only if you're putting over an existing laminate linoleum vinyl flooring. The first two bathrooms that I've done, I put it over top of the plywood subfloor itself. It was a real pain in the butt the first floor I did, and just didn't want to have to go through pulling all the flooring up. But the second floor I had to replace the subfloor. It was rotted out, so I was starting from wood there regardless. But if you're either way, if you're putting it over an existing laminate vinyl floor, I use this. I got this from Home Depot as well, and this will basically just take off any surface finish on the vinyl flooring itself. I just use this at full strength, don't dilute it or anything, and it'll take off. Basically just strip and clean any surface that's on there on the top of the existing floor. And then after you do that, I recommend this, highly recommend this. This is basically a primer floor prep, so it's also from Home Depot. I ought to send them this video and maybe get some commission off this. But works really well. Basically just use a paint roller, 12-inch paint roller, and put that on, let it sit. I think it says for about 45 minutes. Let it sit. I probably maybe an hour and a half, just make sure it was completely dry. But so once I'm getting ready, I got the floor prepped don't skimp out on that. Make sure you're starting from a good foundation, or else you'll have problems down the road. But all I've used to cut the tile is a regular utility knife. Make sure you change your blades often, as they will dull down. Just get a 10 pack of blades or something, pop them out every maybe 15-20 cuts. So if you're looking along the bathtub here, for instance, you want a nice clean line there that you can come back and caulk later. But use the utility knife when you need a nice cut. Otherwise, working around tight corners or anything, just use a pair of aviation or tin snips, and it cuts this tile pretty well. It'll give you a nice hand workout, but it's doable. Metal square for when you're cutting the tiles with the utility knife. It's always nice to have one of those handy. To mark the tiles, I just use a smaller fine tip Sharpie, and having a nice smaller 1 foot ruler is handy as well. So I put these on a 3/16 inch spacing. The first floor I did at a 1/4 inch, and thought it looked a little bit big, so the last two I've gone at 3/16. Just has a nicer, cleaner look, I think. And I think you can get a nicer cut in the grout when you come back and form the grout lines. So as far as grouting goes, this is the same stuff that I've used on all 3 floors that I've done. Different colors, but again, this is from Home Depot. It's a simple grout, pre-mixed sanded grout. And I've used this, like I said, on all 3 of them. It's easy to work with, straight out of the jug here. And you don't have to mix any water in it, stir anything up. It's you open it up and it's ready to go. Make sure you have a good grout float. I like the rubberized ones, nice thick grout float here that you use to push the grout down into the grout lines. And then a new sponge. I've got a couple older ones, but go with a new one each time. Just to make sure that it's not creased or just worn out. It's $2 or $3 on a floor that you're going to be walking on for a few years, so don't skimp out there. I think that's about it in terms of tools go. In terms of tools, but one of the things I wanted to show you was the other bathroom that I did, and then I'm going to come back in here and actually show you how to do the grout work. So don't mind the mess. So this is what like I said, this one's about 6 years old, I think. 12 by 12 inch, and everything's square with the perimeter and everything. But it's held up really well. I haven't had anything that started to lift up. And this was the Traffic Master stuff I got from Home Depot several years back. Couldn't find anything that I liked at Home Depot in that same brand. That's why we went with the Menard stuff. But again, really pleased with the product, and can't complain. So that's what it looks like in here and the other bathroom. We'll go back to the other side and I'll show you how to grout it. Should run and get my wife, have her hold the camera here. We'll try to do the best we can. So get everything out of the way. I'm just going to do a couple lines here so you get the point. So you'll start out, just get some grout on the grout float and push it down in the cracks here. I like to kind of work it back and forth a little bit. And when you come back through, you want to kind of come at a 45-degree angle to the line with your grout float. just so you don't come down in there and pull a bunch of the grout up out of the way. Maybe we'll do one more here. Hope my camera work's not too horrible. Hopefully you'll at least get the gist of it. So once you got the grout in the grout lines, take your sponge. You always want to have clean water. You can see I've got multiple buckets here. So I like to have one bigger 5-gallon bucket and then a couple clean 1-gallon buckets to work with. Actually, I got 3 of them here. So get your sponge clean, and I like to go back through and take some of the grout off of there. Actually, see that I got a low spot here. Put a little bit more in there. Come back through, and I just like to go in a circular motion, get some of the excess grout off. And like I said, you don't want to have that grout haze, and I know a lot of people have mentioned and literally hundreds have mentioned online how big of a pain in the butt the grout haze left over from doing their jobs, and some people recommend putting painter's tape and taping off every single tile, and I just think that's totally unnecessary and a waste of time, effort, and back strain. So I wouldn't bother doing that. Just use a nice clean sponge when you're coming back through. So what I'm doing is cleaning off my sponge right now. Get it nice and clean. Dip it in my second bucket. A lot easier doing this when I got 2 free hands. So then you'll come back through. Once you've got it cleaned off, you want to score the line. So this is the line that I'm talking about here. Score that grout line perpendicular to it. Flip it over and then go back across. Okay. Flip it around. Same thing. Go back across. So the reason I've got multiple buckets is the 5-gallon bucket here, that's kind of my dirty water. Then I've got the 1-gallon buckets that I empty more frequently. Keep those nice and clean. So, go into the 5-gallon bucket, get the majority of it out, and then come back into the 1-pound buckets and get it nice and clean. So again, perpendicular. Sorry, I may have missed that on the camera. I'm just barely pushing down. You don't want to get a whole lot of pressure on it. That's all there is to it. And if you got some spots underneath, something, it's not going to hurt you to go to a 45-degree angle to any of your grout lines. It's, as long as you're not pushing real hard, and then you never want to come down the length with the sponge. You never want to come parallel to your grout line. You'll just lift that up out of there. You either want to stay at a 45 or perpendicular to 90-degree angle to your grout line, so you get a nice clean edge and consistent edge. Otherwise, you're going to be pulling up grout out of the grout line. So a lot longer than I was expecting. It's getting late here. So that's going to be it. Hopefully this helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Can't promise I'll get back to them real soon, but I will try to respond to any questions or comments down below. So take care, good luck, and hope this helps.